Hey, it's your girl Mooney 69 Ways, and I'm here to talk about the season finale of season 3 of Reasonable Doubt. Okay, but before I get into this season finale, if you are new here, make sure you are subscribed, hit the like button, hit the notification bell button so you know when I drop something, when I go live. And if you enjoyed this video, please share this out to all the Reasonable Doubt lovers out there. Now let's get into this episode. So when I tell you this episode had me on an emotional roller coaster, I teared up. I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yo, it's like an emotional roller coaster for sure, especially when it comes to Ozzy and that whole case, this whole situation outside of the case, and Jax with her family. Yeah, it was just an emotional roller coaster ride. I did a reaction video to it, so if you'd like to see the reaction video, go over there to my Patreon. I will put it in the description box below if you want to see my reaction to it. Watch it with me. Yeah, so like I said, when we found out who unalived Wendy, it was someone that I really didn't suspect, to be honest. Like horn on suspect. But shout out to my fellow YouTuber, lighting up with Letitia. She said she think it was a group project, but it wasn't. Okay, it was like a trickle effect. So yeah, so everybody played a part in that woman demise to a certain degree. So, let's. So this episode is called "On to the Next One." So let's see. Episode 10, picked up where it left off because we see Daniel at the cabin where we see Christian there with a blicky and her phone. It's like she's about to take herself out. And he was like, okay, what's going on here? Because he trying to figure out, like, okay, because the burning question was, did you unalive Wendy? Okay. And she begins to, tell like the events happened at the cabin that night, 6 months ago. How she learned about what Rosie, because we go 6 months ago. Rosie told Ozzy, what happened, like Wendy infidelity or whatever. She wasn't being faithful, whatever. And then we see how Ozzy that same day yelling at Wendy in his front yard, like calling her a liar and how you do this to me and stuff like that. Don't go nowhere. Where are you going? And then we see her getting her car roll off. Okay. Then we also see Ozzy going in the house and he calling Alex over some drugs. And yeah, he called Alex for some drugs. And after, Ozzy getting high, really high, Ozzy did receive like a notification, I guess, of Wendy's location, and she was at the family cabin, right? And then Alex did offer to drive him. Ozzy said he will drop the location to Alex or whatever. And he want to go to the cabin to confront Wendy because she did leave in like in the middle of their argument or whatever, or debate, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we see that he arrived at the cabin, right? Alex was outside by the car. Ozzy went in to find Christian there, and guess Wendy is in the seat, tied up and blindfolded. So he is high off his mind, and he barely can like walk a straight line. So he is like waltzing in there, and he found, like I said, he found Wendy all tied up to the chair and stuff like that. And he did see blood on the side of her head, and he was like, okay, what's going on? He's untying Wendy and stuff and taking the blindfold off of her. He's starting to at least untie her, and he touched the blood, and then that's how he got the blood on that sweatshirt that Monica had burned earlier in the season, right? And then Daniel asked stop Kristen's story, well, her quote unquote confession, when he get to the good part. And then he was saying he got a text or alert or whatever saying how the verdict was in. So I mean the jury had reached the verdict and they should get back to the court or whatever into that area. So let's get to the verdict. Okay, the verdict is in, y'all. So when it comes to Ozzy, unlike Wendy, not guilty. Okay, so he's innocent, and his team celebrate. He hugged his parents. At the farm, we did see a celebration, and then we see Kristen did come, of course. Daniel was in the background, of course, and she did apologize, gave him a hug, apologized for not being there for the last, I guess, court date, the last hearing in the case. Jackson also invited Ozzy for dinner to her house. Ozzy turned it down. That he's going to attend a different party. Okay, he said he's going somewhere else. I was like, okay, where are you going? But this is when his mama Rose Rosie interrupted Jax and Ozzy, and she wanted him to come over to talk to some people to talk about his future, I guess, in film or TV, movie, whatever. And then Ozzy look on his face was like, okay, here we go, because clearly he still don't want to do that. It was written all over his face at that moment, and he it seemed like he had to put on this face like he really want to talk to these people and think about his future at that moment. But I just think he just glad that it was over for him, that he was innocent and the trial was over, and he want to like trying to get his life back or trying to find himself. You know what I'm saying? So Daniel did call Jax to the side and tell her about Christian confession, and of course she had to stop at one point, but I guess she probably continued to tell him the whole thing on the ride over to the court. So according to Daniel S., Kristen told him that when he had dropped by, I guess, the parents' house to confront them, because mind you, Rosie did tell Ozzy about Wendy cheating on him or whatever with some guy, and Rosie and Sal, she said Rosie and Sal were away at that time, and there was a altercation between Wendy and Christian, and then she hit her head on the table or something like that, and she passed out. And then that's when Christian went into a panic, and she said she grabbed Wendy, tied her up, took her to the cabin, right, and threatened her to keep the family secrets. And Wendy tried to run, and that's when Ozzy showed up. Christian shot Wendy as she was running towards the woods. After that, she paid Alex to keep quiet and take Ozzy back home. They wanted to tell Ozzy, but it's a lot going on. He is celebrating this victory of being found not guilty of unaliving Wendy. So they put it off the weekend before they can tell him how she actually died. So we see Daniel did say something important during that time, because he was like, I'm glad I don't have a sibling, I guess, who act like that or who feel about me that way, stuff like that. Because mind you, Christian does think that Ozzy is the star in their parents' eyes, and I will agree, because the way they relying on him and milking him for everything he got, for his talent. Yeah, and that's what made Jax think, and she texted Chelsea and say how they can meet up, connect. Okay, so let's go over to Lewis. Look, Lewis finally stood on business. Okay, he finally stood on business, and with the whole Sam of it all, because when I say the whole Sam character irks me so bad, when it comes to workplace etiquette, and you're supposed to be we all in the same group, if you know what I mean, in the same group of it all, and you gonna play in my face and play with my niceness is wild to me. Lewis better than me, that's all I'm gonna say. But we already know Lewis is soft and he can be a sucker for real. So Sam came in the office, and then this is when I guess it was a assistant of Lewis, because it was a woman. She said something about Sam, and he was like, take it easy on Sam, he about to have a baby, whatever. And she looked like, by who? And she said all he do is brag about his Tinder account or whatever. And that's when Lewis realized he'd been played. Like, duh, even I felt that was a lie. I'm like, out of nowhere, you going to bring up your girlfriend, her pregnancy and stuff, and how it's been hard for y'all to have a baby because her miscarriage or something. It was so well scripted for him. It was like ready for, it's like saying I have these things in his pockets ready. Okay. Yeah, so Lewis realized he'd been played by Sam again, to avoid working. And he set up a trap for him, confront him with the truth, and you get him this tablet talking about something they was working on. He went into the folder, since claimed he can't find it. And Lewis says, if you clicked on the right folder, you realize that folder is empty. So you don't know what you're doing. So basically, Sam is acting, if he say he's finessing the system, it's like one thing to finesse the system, but it's another thing to play on your brother, on a brother, not your brother, but on a brother head top, who is well qualified to be in this position. So it's like, no, yeah, no, yeah, no. Like, if I have to have these credentials and get these and be in this position, you can too, but you're not putting in the effort. You just like not trying at all. And that's the kind of person that gets on my nerves, and that's Sam. So Lewis fired him. Okay. Because Lewis fired him. He said, okay, you gotta go. And then he called security escorted him out. And I said, good riddance. Because I was tired of Sam. I really was. Wholeheartedly tired of Sam. Okay. So Steven and Vince, the partners, okay, congratulate Bill and inform him about, I guess the acquisition is happening with the firm, and congratulate him. Said that they have decided to make him a partner and stuff like that. Even though he didn't make the closing argument, because Jax made the closing argument. I mean, she was the lead in this case. They would say they would also bring along Jax to the new firm, but it was just weird because Bill at one point was trying to stand up for Jax, saying that she saying they need to appreciate her and respect her, and she's needed. And if we wouldn't won this case if it was for Jax. And they look like, damn, okay, then Bill, what you was doing since Jax did all the work and stuff like that. And he was trying to like make them give Jax her credit, and she bringing the firm a lot of money, which is true. She put billable hours and she's bringing money. It's like when it comes to Bill, for me, it's like you trying to play both sides of the fence, because I think Sally had pointed that out later about him, like, you down with the sisters or you ain't. It's like, what are you doing? You can't be playing both sides. Okay, I don't care if you was digging down the sister, married to a sister, and then no, you can't have it both ways, because it seems like you always gonna get what you want, go after what you want no matter what. So I'm glad Jax don't trust him. I really do. Either you down for sister or you ain't. So pick a lane. Don't be trying to play both sides, because we see both of your faces. So Corey, we had a surprise guest by Morris Chestnut, and Corey and his fiance Brandy stopped by. It was good to see them in this finale, I think, because I thought after so long with the beginning of Ozzy Case that was the end of Corey Cash for the season. But we got a pleasantly surprised visit by Corey and his fiance Brandy. So she had to show her ring off. So I'm like, wow, that was quick. And it's like we learned that it's been 6 months of this trial. So I'm like, okay, 6 months, okay. I guess he ready to settle down, because we already know how we was introduced to Corey Cash last season. So they dropped into town, had dinner with Drax and Lewis. It was like this little weird moment between Corey and Lewis. It was like awkward at best, because you know how the history was between the two. But we did see it. It was a moment in the kitchen. We did see Corey and Jax talking about, because she talked about Bill, because Bill was her second chair, right? And how he made partner and stuff like that. How he is like basically a snake. Okay. Corey did mention like Steven and Vince made an offer to him by bringing him on into the firm. But to do that, they would have to buy out Jax. So they wanted to replace Jax with Corey. Jax looked shocked. She's shocked, and she's not. She's not exactly surprised, but it is like offensive. Okay, I mean, she built hella billable hours. She's the main one to keeping that firm afloat. Let's keep it honest with these big cases, and she's the reason why that firm get attention. She win her cases, but in billable hours, let's not. She's not like a slacker. Ahead of we see the partners meeting. She went to the office. We find like she sees Steven, Vince, and Bill popping and drinking champagne to celebrate Bill coming on as a new partner. Jax is surprised, given that they have not voted on the matter yet, because it's supposed to be a due process. I guess a due process for his voting in his new partner. Everybody got to be on the same court on bringing on Bill as a partner and stuff like that. It's like an order of things to be done for him to be partner, which is shocking to her about the acquisition, and Bill as trying to justify his actions, talking about how he's trying to protect Jax, how he spoke up. I was like, okay, and what? Like, you want a cookie? Like, no, you can't have it both ways. So it is what it is. And you can tell Jax had it up to here with the BS and the good old boys club of it all. And she's just tired. Like, she don't like at this point she doesn't feel value anymore. Really now more than ever, she does feel value or appreciated. So we see Jax, he went to go get a box. Bill peeping her movement, like he's not really even paying attention to the other partners. So she went to the office, looked around, went out, go get one of those office box we put your paper stuff in. So she had enough, so she packed her shit and she left. Okay, let's start our own shit. Okay, let's start our own firm. Okay, But she also did tell Crystal and Daniel of it all because that's her team. Yeah, she told him like, girl, like I'm doing my own thing, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So we see Jax did meet up with Chelsea. They was walking, I guess by the beach or a park or whatever. So we know Chelsea gonna throw Eddie under the bus like she did, like she told Lewis that time she rolled up on him in his job parking lot. Talk about how he's a con artist, he's a scammer. She just trying to save her tail because it's giving me y'all both in cahoots or you the ringleader. The way you and Eddie interaction was, so episodes before. So we see Jax met up with Eddie later outside a funeral home. She asked him like she told him that she met up with Chelsea and how she like basically telling you she's you a con and you try to get some money out of her. And Eddie was like, no, the money was supposed to be for Chelsea because she got into some things. I wish I would elaborate these things were and what she need the money for, because I want to know. Now I want to know, why is Chelsea in the need of money? Okay, we see she have a hard time keeping a job after she jumped a customer and she went to jail for it. But I don't know. I need to know. I wish they would elaborate more, like why does Chelsea need the money and what's going on with her half sister. And at this point, Jess was happy to, she was kind of let her guard down when it comes to Eddie, like welcome him into her life, and now she's like uncertain now with him and Chelsea. So, she'll keep a distance, from Chelsea and Eddie at this time, because she doesn't trust them. She don't know who to trust because they both thrown each other under the bus. Okay, she just said how she disappointed, and Eddie, and he felt to be a good parent to her, basically. So yeah, that's the whole Jackson, Eddie, and Chelsea situation, which is sad. Yeah, I was hoping maybe it'll be next season, but I don't know. But I need to know what the money is needed for. I need to know what's going down, and yeah, and why would they try to con money out of Jax? I need to know. So we see Ozzy at a party, right? This is when he said he's going to celebrate with some, I guess, some friends or going to another place to celebrate. And we see a massive house party. And I'm thinking, at first I thought it was Ozzy's house, but it wasn't. It was one of his friends that paid him a visit that time when they had the strippers and stuff while he was on house arrest. So yeah, it was his party, and it was a lot of alcohol and stuff. Him picking up a water as he was walking through the party. And one of the friends, they was doing some powdery drugs, and I don't know what kind of drugs it was, but he gave Ozzy like half of the rest of the bag, okay, in his hand. Ozzy was like, "Nah, I'm good." Gave him. I was like, "Ozzy, please put them drugs down." And we see like a concerned face of Ozzy, right? And I guess, and he eventually he showed up on Jack's doorstep, right? Yeah, he showed up on Jack's doorstep and came over for dinner. The kids was there, especially Naima was there along with Mama Lou. They was all having dinner with Lewis and stuff like that. They was there, smiling, chuckling, and talk about how he had to work for his car, because the kids asked him if he had a certain type of car, and he said, "Yeah, but I work for it." So, because the kids wanted a specific car, and I guess the deal was they got at least work for half of it or something like that, or for the parents to pay for the rest of the car, something like that. It was a cute moment at the table because Ozzy was smiling, having a good time again at Jack's house with her family. And so eventually Mama Lou left and the kids spent night with Mama Lou, and it was a cute moment. I think that's for autograph and pictures of Ozzy. It was a dope moment, and they left and stuff like that. This is when Jax, basically told him like, some people from this company about to come be here in 20 minutes to take you to rehab. He's looking like, what? Because she gave him a hug. She said because she loved him, and she is doing this out of love, and she wants to help him, with his drug addiction and stuff like that. He didn't really say he need rehab. It was just, I was like, oh my gosh, please don't have this be a trigger. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to addicts, certain actions, erupt actions like this, or what's that called when they have everybody over a talk where everybody come over and talk to you and whatever. They don't like surprises. They do not like surprises like this. First of all, they gotta want the help first admit to their addiction and want and willing to receive the help. I know Jax was doing out of love, but it was just so, bro. I'm like 20 minutes. I'm like, that was a bro. And then he was like, he's getting emotional because she was hugging him, said like, I'm doing what your parents should have did for you, which is true. But it's like, yo, you sprung this on him like this. And as he was, she said, you can go in Spencer's room to get your, thoughts together before they come. And as he was going to Spencer's room, he turned around and said, I hate you at this moment. I hate what you did at this moment right now, but I love you too, or something like that. And then he was in the room, and we see the two guys come to the door from this company rehab place to come get him. They went to go check on him, and he was there on the floor, unresponsive, looking like a ghost. It was so unfortunate and heartbreaking. And she was screaming, "No, no, 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 Ozzy, Ozzy, wake up, wake up! No, 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 no." Yeah. So it was a disrupt. So this is what we saw at the beginning of the season. So this is who was on the floor, who she was screaming about. So it was Ozzy. So he did take the drugs from his friend. I was hoping he would leave it on that counter, but no, he had these drugs, and the whole red pack was gone. I'm thinking he couldn't handle it. I think, like I said, addicts don't like to be surprised of something like that. Because typically they will rebel. But I don't know. Even though she was doing out of love, this could have been, this could have been him taking control of his life, because he always has someone tell him what to do. Yeah. So this action, even though she was doing, like I said, even though she was doing out of love, this could have caused him to, wanted to do that, because he really wasn't doing powder for like a month and a half or something like that. I think she said, no, you California sober. So he was semi-sober, but because if he really wanted to take drugs, he could have did it at the party. He would have stayed at that party. And he took drugs that he know nothing about. I think he took too much or whatever. Yeah, this could be a way of taking control of his life. He just tired, I guess, of people telling him what to do and how to live his life. So yeah, so Ozzy passed away, overdose. And we see they have the funeral. So after the funeral, it was just so sad. It's just a sad moment for Ozzy, because you feel bad. He been through a lot if you think about it. Child star, sexual abuse, 13, being manipulated by his publicist agent, whatever. And your parents got you drugged up or Adderall, and because you didn't know you had this mental illness or diagnosed with this mental thing. And your parents act like you're a monster. Yeah, it was just a lot, and everything rides on him when it comes to providing for his family. It's just a lot on this. It was just a lot on this young man. And the sad part is when they pull out that list out his pocket, as they was put on the ambulance, Jack saw the list, and the list was like all the things he wanted to do was like go to the grocery store, like do regular basic things. It was like a list of basic things, and it's really, really, really heartbreaking. It's like the things he wanted to do and experience on his own, because everything in his life was done by somebody else. So he wanted some normalcy, and want to live his life the way he wants to live it. So he probably took this way out. Said like, F it. It was just really sad. So after the funeral, at the repast, we see the family lingering. Everybody is, emotional. And Jackson is Christian to come clean about Wendy's death and stuff like that. And this is when we're gonna find out who unalive Wendy. But before that, I did like the moment between Jax and Spencer. When it came to her son, she just saying like, if things get tough or whatever, because he's into music and he into his arts at his school or whatever, like things get tough, you always come to me and talk to me. It was a touching moment between the two, and I loved it. And he just reassured his mom like, I would never touch drugs, or no matter how much under pressure I am, I'm not into that. He said, I'm not doing stuff for clout and stuff like that. So he reassured his mama that he will definitely will talk to her if it's ever gets so serious, and he never touch drugs. He will never do that. So it was a touching moment. But let's get back to this twist of who really unalive Wendy, right? So we discovered Kristen lied, basically. She half lied, because we get the real story. So we see Kristen finding her father, Sal, at the repast. So she approached him like we need to tell the truth. Like Ozzy no longer here. Basically how you basically need to free your conscience. Like really what happened that night of Wendy at the cabin, whatever. So she's trying to find out she protected her dad, Sal. We see the real events, chain of events that happened. So we did see Wendy going to the parents' house. Sal answered the door. He was there, and Wendy confronted him about the lie they tell him about, the affair, whatever. And she was just saying how she was going like still tell, I guess, the secrets. I guess she knows some things basically. So he punched her. She hit her head on the table. She fell down. She was knocked out. Kristen saw the whole thing. Well, she saw what happened. She was like, "Dad, what? Like what?" And then he was like, "Help me." So the dad was thinking, "Quick, help me, pick her up, grab her, tie her up, put her in the car." They drove to the cabin, okay, and they asked because they asked Kristen for some help because, mind you, she's supposed to be the one who protects Ozzy. I'm like, but who protect Kristen? Okay, who is there for Kristen? That's why she is the way she is. Okay, so they took Wendy to the cabin, got her tied up, got her blindfolded. So in this version of the story, the dad is there. But before they do anything to Wendy or whatever, Ozzy did show up and Alex did drove him to the cabin, right? Mind you, Ozzy is drugged up as he was walking in, barely can walk in a straight line. He was like, Wendy, what you doing here? Like, what's happening? And this is when he was trying to take the blindfold off and touch the blood and wrap it on his hoodie or what have you. And he eventually passed out on the couch because he couldn't like really keep his balance instead. So he passed out on the couch. And that's when Christian yell out about the Narcane or whatever, to get him too. Also at the same time, we see Wendy is really untying the rest of the ropes that Ozzy couldn't finish on time, and she was untying her wrists, her feet, and then this when she, tell it out the door while they was try to attend to Ozzy, and that's when Christian realized she was ran out, and that's when Sal ran after her. She ran into the woods. He shot off some shots, multiple shots. She trying to when he made the multiple shots, I was like, okay, it seemed like he hit her, but like I don't think she hit her down dead. So Sal looked at Alex. He said that you see what just happened. Any amount of money you need, we got you. Okay, whatever. So that's how Alex got roped up into this whole situation, right? So the dad went to go find Wendy in the woods. So we see Wendy, she was hit an arm and she was like running. She was hurt. She was running. She already got like a head trauma thing happened to her head. And now she's hitting the arm. She's trying to run out of the woods, trying to run to safety. Child, he found her. Basically, she was just telling him like, no matter what happened, like I'm still gonna tell Ozzy. I'm like, girl, why would you say that? Like you got a head thing, a head, you busted at the head. You got a bullet in your arm. Like, why would you say that? And he has the bullet, the blicky, so like he could finish you. Like, why would you say those things? I just like, okay, you could at least apologize or pretend to, but she said she's still gonna tell Ozzy about the fake tape and all other stuff. So, and that's when Sal got mad. He put his hand over her mouth and basically suffocated her out. So, yeah. So that's how Alex got roped in. Christian got roped in. So it was actually the dad, Sal. Technically, Sal doing it was not really on my radar. Tough. Definitely giving the sister a Monica, and then eventually the mom because she was acting weird as ever. And then Ozzy didn't make it no better. But come to find out, because he was having no flashbacks, come to find out Ozzy did see Wendy that night. He was there. He was there and he wasn't there. He was there, but he wasn't because he was drugged up. He don't remember. So he blacked out. He did black out. So that's when Alex did drove off. He got so scared he drove off. So he did not take Ozzy back to the house. So Christian did. So Ozzy, she put him in the bed, took off his clothes and stuff like that. Said like nothing happened. Okay. Seemed like he was there the whole night. So as the story was unfolding, I'm like, the daddy's so dumb. And that's when Christian asked Jax if that's good enough, because mind you, she's on the phone, Jack's on the phone, listening, and then come around the corner is like a detective and a police officer or whatever, and they arrested Sal. Then Daniel breaks up with Kristen. I'm like, you should have did that a long time ago. Okay, because it was never gonna work. Yeah, it's just too much happened. So Rosie did get approached at the funeral or at the repast about, I guess, doing a tell-all story about Ozzy's story or whatever. And then we do get a scene, her sitting in the chair, and she's ready to talk. So I guess they're gonna do a documentary about Ozzy's story. So we do see Jax blame herself for what happened to Ozzy. Because she also wondered, like, if she hasn't done what she done, would he still be here? Possibly. I mean, it's not a guarantee because he still had the drugs on him. Whether he did it there or at his house, I mean, it was always gonna be a possibility for him to overdose or get back doing heavy drugs or whatever. So she still, she feels guilty about that. So we get this like montage of stuff happening. Like Autumn, coming up to the girls, showing off her baby, cute baby. It was cute. So she had the baby. So Bill and Sally seem like they're gonna continue to do whatever. And I think Bill trying to almost feel bad about, he's starting to feel bad about what happened to Jack, because like Sally said, you can't have it both ways. If you down with the sister, you ain't can't have it both ways. So we know that Jack's quit the firm. So we see Louis, Daniel, Crystal, and support Jax in her new firm, the Stewart firm, and like that. She moving into her new office. So we see Louis and Daniel helping her move. And then guess who come in at the end? The child molester, the child abuser, Monica. She's arrives at the office looking terrible. She looked down and out. Okay, we did see her at the funeral, outside the funeral. So she came in looking toe up, in a hoodie at Jack's new office, holding the blicky, and then immediately Jack said no, and then we see Daniel Lewis there. It looked like Lewis was trying to get in front of Jack, so I don't know what went down. We see the trigger being pulled, and baby, I'm like, it left us on a cliffhanger. Like, who did she shoot? That's the question. Who did she shoot? I can't wait to season 4. I'm glad they got a season 4, and I really enjoyed this season. A Reasonable Doubt. I enjoyed this season. I love the music for this season. It was great across the board for the soundtrack of this season. It was just a dope season, and the twist of who really unalive Wendy really got us, majority of us, about who actually did it, and what actually happened. I'm glad to see actually what went down. But I think it was a group effort when it comes to Wendy and Ozzy, especially Ozzy demise. It was just like a group effort, because like all his life, even though Jax just came into his life, like know him for 6 months, he'd been through a lot, and I don't think he could handle anymore. Yeah, I don't think he could deal with it anymore of his life. I don't think he could deal. So he just went out the way of an overdose. It was just so sad to see and hear, and especially the interaction between him and Jax. Teary-eyed. I was teary-eyed. So if y'all want to see me teary-eyed, make sure you go to my Patreon and check out the video. But yeah, so that's how season 3 ended. Who got shot? Was it Jax, Louis, or Daniel? I guess we shall see. And season 4, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Yeah, let me know your thoughts below about the season as a whole. Did you enjoy it? Did you predict that it was Sal who took out Wendy? And did you foresee that it was Ozzy in that room that Jax was screaming over? Yeah, let me know your thoughts below of how things turned out. Let me know who you think got shot at the end. Who Monica shot? Who did she shoot? Yeah, who did she shoot? So yeah, I will see y'all in season 4. Peace.